Just as I was about to start recording this video, I realized that out of the 16 clubs that remain in the Conference League, I don't own a single kit from any of them. So we're wearing this Poland kit because the Conference League final is going to be in Poland. It only makes sense. It's the best I can do. Yes, my friends, welcome back. Today we're going to predict the round of 16 of the Conference League. By the way, thank you for all the love on the Champions League video, on the Europa League video. Your support really means a lot to me, so I appreciate it. Now, to me personally, guys, the Conference League this season is the true definition of European club football, and there's a specific reason for that. And that reason is, out of the 16 clubs that remain, 15 of them are from different countries. There's only 2 clubs left from the same nation, and they're both from Poland. The 8 matchups are extremely random, and they look very exciting, and that's because we don't see these types of fixtures on a regular basis. On the left side of the bracket, we got Real Betis versus Vitória Guimarães from Portugal. Then we got Jagiellonia from Poland versus Cercle Bruges from Belgium, and Celje versus Lugano, and Panathinaikos versus Fiorentina. That is a big one. And then on the right, it's Chelsea versus FC Copenhagen, Molde versus the other Polish club in Legia Warszawa, Paphos from Cyprus versus Djurgården from Sweden, and the final one, Borac Banja Luka versus Rapid Vienna. I mean, how does someone even go about predicting these? But we're gonna do our best, guys, and if we're wrong, I mean we're wrong. By the way, guys, before we begin, please hit the like button for me with the subscribe button as well, and the little noti bell so you don't miss out on any future videos on the channel. Let's get into it. The Conference League, the most exciting competition. Let's be honest with each other. It's better than the Champions League. It's better than the Europa League. Round of 16 predictions. Let's go. Let's begin with this one, guys. I think it would feel wrong not to start talking about the GOAT, Anthony, and his resurgence at Real Betis. So Real Betis with Anthony will be taking on the Portuguese side Vitória Guimarães in the round of 16, and honestly, I think this will be one-way traffic. Now, I understand that Vitória Guimarães finished in the top 8 in the Conference League. They actually went unbeaten through the league phase, but since bringing in Anthony, Real Betis has been exceptional. They've beaten Real Sociedad, they've beaten Real Madrid. Anthony is on absolute fire with 3 goals and 2 assists in 7 matches, and they've climbed all the way to 6th in La Liga in the process. By the way, a fun fact for you guys, Anthony through 7 matches at Real Betis has the same amount of goals and assists that he had all of last season through 38 matches at Manchester United. So I have to ask, was Manchester United the problem the entire time? But that's besides the point. The point is Anthony is performing very well at Real Betis, and he's playing with some very good players like Isco as an example. 6 goals, 3 assists in 15 matches for Real Betis this year. I expect him to play in the Conference League. I expect him to perform very well in the Conference League. Can Vitória Guimarães stop Isco? I am not sure. Real Betis have also brought in reinforcements, the likes of Cucha Hernandez from Columbus Crew, and although he hasn't scored yet, he has been performing very well. Again, I expect him to play in the Conference League against Vitória. Just going down this lineup, there's so much experience here. Ricardo Rodriguez, Mark Bartra, Diego Lorente, the 23-year-old US international Johnny Cardoso, who actually scored against Real Madrid. I would say that Vitória versus Real Betis is very deceiving, because if you look at it on paper, you'd think, oh, Vitória, they finished in the top 8. They must be the better team. They're not. They're definitely not. It's just too big of an ask for Vitória Guimarães to beat the new and improved Real Betis over the course of 2 legs. I'm going with Real Betis in this one. Anthony the GOAT will carry them to victory, guys. To set the stage for a quarterfinal matchup with Real Betis being there, we have to crown a winner of the next one, and that is Jagiellonia versus Cercle Bruges from Belgium. The current Polish champions of the 23-24 season are having just as good of a season as they did last year. Currently, they're in 2nd, only 2 points back of Lech Poznan in the Polish Ekstraklasa, with the Spanish 34-year-old Jesus Emos leading the way for Jagiellonia. He's been playing in Poland for quite a while, and he's been performing there on a very consistent level. Jagiellonia did get into the round of 16 via the playoffs because during the league phase they finished 9th, but ironically Cercle Bruges finished 8th, and they were tied on points. Now, how about Cercle Bruges? Last year they had a very good season in Belgium, but this year they've fallen down the pecking order, and currently they're only sitting 1 point above the relegation qualification, all the way down in 12th. And to make things even worse, Cercle Bruges lost their best striker in Kevin Denke to FC Cincinnati in the MLS. He's been very good for them for several seasons in the Conference League, 4 goals and 4 assists this year. I don't even know how you can replace that. Take away Kevin Denke, and all of a sudden Cercle Bruges doesn't have a single player with more than 3 goals this season. The one thing that I will credit Cercle Bruges for is definitely their defensive efforts. Over the past 15 matches, they've conceded 2 or more goals only once. When they do lose, it's like 1-0, and when they draw, it's like 0-0 or 1-1. So they don't score a lot, but they also don't concede a lot. I guess you can put it like that. It does feel like, though, both clubs clubs are heading into opposite directions, though. Jagiellonia has been on top, and they're staying and maintaining that level, while Cercle Bruges is coming down to earth. And for that sole reason, plus minus Kevin Denke, I'm giving the edge to the Polish side, Jagiellonia. The first quarterfinal is set. Real Betis versus Jagiellonia. Anthony is heading to Poland. Matchup number 3. These matchups are so random, man. Lugano from Switzerland versus uecl from Slovenia, guys. Truthfully, I don't even know where to start here. I guess we'll start with the Slovenian side, uecl. They got into the round of 16 by beating Apoel Nicosia in the playoffs over the course of 2 legs. And during the course of their league phase, uecl, I guess you would say, performed pretty admirably because they had some tough opponents. They faced Vitória Guimarães. They lost 3-1. Then somehow they hammered Başakşehir 5-1. They also played Real Betis, and they narrowly lost that one 2-1. For a club that's not even in first in the Slovenian top division, I would say those are pretty positive results, wouldn't you? I guess their target and danger man would have to be this guy, Armandas Kučas, the 22-year-old Lithuanian striker. He's got 15 goals in all competitions this year and 7 goals in the Conference League. He scored 3 against Apoel Nicosia over the course of 2 legs to send uecl to the round of 16. And he had a brace in that 5-1 destruction of Başakşehir as well. But then if we head to the Swiss Super League and start looking at Lugano, Lugano is still in the conversation to win the league in Switzerland. The table is extremely close. Currently, Lugano sits in 4th place, only 3 points off Basel, who are in 1st. Now, I'm obviously not a professional, but to me, I think there's one deciding factor in this tie that could make it or break it. Lugano is going into this tie against uecl in very questionable form. Over their last 3 matches, they lost all 3 and haven't even scored a single goal. Mentally, players are starting to doubt themselves a little bit, and their first match will be away in Slovenia. uecl is hosting because they are the playoff team, while Lugano gets the second leg at home because they are the seeded team. I am sure the environment in Slovenia will not be very friendly, and Lugano will have to get over that hurdle. But if uecl can steal this one and hold a clean sheet at home, then Lugano and their players are gonna have some major problems. That'll be 4 matches in a row without scoring. Guys, I think this is where my first shock prediction comes in. I'm gonna pick uecl to upset Lugano and advance to the quarterfinals. I don't know why, but I have this very, very odd feeling that uecl is feeling good about themselves. They've progressed through the knockout playoffs. Lugano isn't in great form. They can't score a single goal. Maybe there's something here for the Slovenian side. If I get roasted for this one, I'm getting roasted for this one. With uecl shocking Lugano and advancing to the quarterfinals, according to me, guys, they're gonna have to face the winner of Panathinaikos versus Fiorentina. Let's start with Fiorentina. They're having an up and down, typical Fiorentina season, I would say, sitting 7th currently in Italy, 13, 6, and 8. They're losing to clubs like Como and Hellas Verona, but then they're beating Inter Milan. They beat Lazio. Overall, I would say they had a very good Conference League campaign, finishing in the top 8, only behind Chelsea and Vitória, going 4-1-1 with losing 1 match, but it was to Apoel Nicosia. The loss of Moise Kean, their leading goal scorer, obviously hurt their performances since he's been out, but I read some good news today that he's back in training. He's allowed to resume training. I'm not sure if he'll be back in time for both legs, or maybe at least the second leg against Panathinaikos. Unlike Fiorentina's successful campaign in the Conference League during the league phase, Panathinaikos did not have a successful campaign in the league phase, I would say. I think going into the playoffs was a disappointment for them. I think they probably expected to finish in the top 8, but they didn't. They had some very questionable performances. They drew with Borac Banja Luka during the league phase. They lost to Djurgården. Then they went into the playoffs and lost the first leg to Vikingur from Iceland. It's just not been convincing whatsoever, has it? So what happens between Fiorentina and Panathinaikos? Obviously, both clubs are huge. This is a very, very large matchup, and I think the losers of the last 2 Conference League finals in Fiorentina, they progress, guys. I think Fiorentina just has the edge over the Greek side, and they go into the quarterfinals to face uecl. I just can't get behind Panathinaikos in this time, man. They lost to Lamia recently, which is the last place club in the Greek Super League. They gave them their 2nd win. So for me, it's Fiorentina that advances. 4 predictions down, 4 more to go. We are moving to Chelsea versus FC Copenhagen. Is there any chance for FC Copenhagen to progress here? Being completely honest, guys, when I saw that Chelsea is going to be playing in the Conference League this year, I felt bad for all the other teams because I thought it's not going to be fair. And during the league phase, it wasn't fair at all. Chelsea went 6 wins from 6, scoring 26 times, conceding only 5 on 18 points. No one stood in the way. They smashed clubs left, right, and center. 5-1 against Shamrock Shamrock Rovers 8-0 against FC Noah. They really didn't have any serious competition during the league phase, and the matches that they did play, they were over before they even started. Now, FC Copenhagen is obviously a very familiar side to European football in the Champions League. Obviously, this year they are in the Conference League instead. Not a great campaign for FC Copenhagen. Definitely expected better from them. 2-2-2 in 6 matches, finishing in 18th, only scoring 8 and conceding 9. During the league phase, they lost to Jagiellonia from Poland and Rapid Vienna, and then during the knockout playoffs, they lost the first leg to the Bundesliga side Heidenheim. And although they came back against Heidenheim in the second leg and advanced to the round of 16, I wouldn't say that's a huge accomplishment because Heidenheim, they are having an atrocious season in the Bundesliga. At the time of this recording, they are last in the Bundesliga and they look like they're gonna go down. This is a massive step up for FC Copenhagen after playing Heidenheim. They gotta play Chelsea home and away. There's really nothing more to talk about in this tie. Chelsea progresses easily. Chelsea is the better club. And I'm not even a Chelsea fan, but it's as clear as day. Chelsea will advance. The question is, will I be cheering for Chelsea here? Absolutely not. I'm definitely cheering for FC Copenhagen. I would love to see this massive upset, but the chances of that are slim to none. Who will Chelsea face in the quarterfinals? It will be the winner of Molde from Norway or the second Polish side in Legia Warszawa. Yet another random matchup. The Polish Legia Warszawa, a top 8 Conference League finish, ending their league campaign in 7th, 4 wins and 2 losses, and they had some very impressive results. They beat Real Betis 1-0, but that was way before Anthony the Goat joined Real Betis, so the result this time around would probably be different. I'll be honest, guys, I didn't watch too much Legia in the Conference League, but I did watch a lot of Molde, and I'm gonna come out and straight up say it, I was not impressed. Sorry. Just absolutely struggling in the knockout playoffs against Shamrock Rovers, taking red cards, going a man down, then winning on penalties. It wasn't good, man. If Shamrock Rovers knew how to score by playing a man up, we wouldn't even be having a conversation about Molde right now. You also got to take into account that the season in Norway hasn't even started yet, so Molde is playing in the Conference League during their off season. While Polish football has been going on all winter long, Legia has been playing obviously in the Ekstraklasa, in the Cup, in the Conference League. So for me, I'm basing this decision on what I saw from Molde against Shamrock Rovers, and also because they're in their off season, I think this is the end of the road for them. I think Legia advance here. And just like Anthony with Real Betis, Chelsea will also have to travel to Poland in the quarterfinals, according to me anyways. Who's ready for another random Conference League round of 16 matchup? Paphos from Cyprus versus Djurgården from Sweden. Djurgården is a very big Swedish club, while Paphos is top of the league in Cyprus. I think this matchup kind of flies under the radar. It could be very exciting. If we go through the Paphos roster, there are some familiar faces, specifically being Ken Sema, the former Watford player. He just transferred over there and now he's playing in the Conference League instead of the Championship. They also got the Croatian super sub Mislav Orsic. I'm sure you know Mislav Orsic. Every single time Croatia needs a goal in some sort of European competition, a World Cup competition, this is the guy that they bring on in the last couple of minutes. Let's chat about Djurgården for a second now, guys. Very impressive Conference League campaign. They finished in 5th, only losing once, beating clubs like Legia Warszawa and Panathinaikos in the process. You can't really take anything away from Djurgården here. They show that they can compete and beat some of the bigger clubs in the competition. Once again, though, just like in Molde's case in Norway, the Allsvenskan season in Sweden hasn't actually began yet, so there's been limited playing time for Djurgården. It looks like Djurgården has only played 3 competitive matches since December, and they've all been in the Swedish Cup, while the league in Cyprus is in full swing and players are competing on a regular basis. It's really tough to call, and I might be wrong, but I think I'm taking Paphos to advance. And that brings us to our final Conference League prediction. Borac Banja Luka from Bosnia-Herzegovina versus Rapid Vienna from Austria. Ay, what are we gonna do here? Okay, so Rapid Vienna is not having a great season by their standards in the Austrian Bundesliga. They're currently in 5th place behind Sturm Graz, Austria Vienna, Wolfsberger, and RB Salzburg, but you still have to consider them to be the favorites to progress against Borac Banja Luka from Bosnia, right? Even though Borac Banja Luka is like one of the top clubs in the Bosnia-Herzegovina Premier League, there's not a lot of competition there. I really don't know how they got by Olimpia Ljubljana from Slovenia. That's a pretty big club in Slovenia. I would think they are very, very disappointed with that result. But here they are, Borac Banja Luka. They're in the round of 16. You gotta give them some credit, I guess. Seriously, this would be a humongous upset. Probably one of the bigger ones if it was to happen, but there's just no way that it's happening. It is SK Rapid Vienna, the Austrian side, that will advance. My quarterfinal matchups are set, my friends. Real Betis versus Jagiellonia, NK Celje versus Fiorentina. Chelsea will travel to Poland to face Legia Warszawa, and then it will be Paphos versus SK Rapid Vienna. If we're putting the predictions aside and you want to know what clubs I will be cheering for, I definitely will be cheering for Real Betis. I really like the way that they look this year. I will be cheering for Jagiellonia over Cercle Bruges. Definitely cheering for Encatcelje over Lugano. Don't really know who to cheer for when it comes to Fiorentina versus Panathinaikos. Definitely cheering for FC Copenhagen over Chelsea. Cheering for Legia Warszawa because the final would be in Poland, so I would like to see a Polish club make the final. That would be something else. Pafos versus Djurgården. I don't know. Maybe Djurgården because it would be cool to see a Swedish club go deep, but it's also to see a Cypriot club go deep as well. And Borac Banja Luka versus SK Rapid Vienna. I mean, the heavy underdog is Borac Banja Luka here. Do we cheer for them? You guys let me know. These are my predictions, my friends. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please hit the like button for me and the subscribe button with the little noti bell. I would really appreciate it. Once again, if I didn't pick your club, please do not hound me in the comments. It's just a fun predictions video. It is what it is. I could be wrong on all of them. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Stay happy. Stay healthy. Always keep smiling. And I'll see you guys in the next one. All right? Peace, 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 peace. Love you as always. Peace.